Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of True Offseason. We are here. We are plugging away. The offseason is almost over because if you are a fan of football in any way, shape, or form, then you know that we will get some form of football at the end of this month, the Hall of Fame game. And as shitty as watching third stringers, fourth stringers playing as they try to make the team, it is at least football. But as we move towards the end of the offseason, Netflix decided to drop its new season of quarterback, and we are here to discuss all of the news and everything that has happened in that season of quarterback. And when I mean me, I mean, of course, I mean myself. I mean Chase Oliver. Sir, how are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing great, man. I cannot wait. You know, my team plays at the end of July, John. Your team's not playing at all. My team, I get to see them play at the end of July. The Hall of Fame game. Thanks to our Hall of Fame tight end, Antonio Gates, for making it. How is he not first ballot? I don't know. The voters are stupid. One of the best undrafted players, if not the best undrafted player of all time on the offensive side of the ball, at least. But, yeah, very excited, man. I love the first few weeks of preseason because that's where you get to see, you get to see who your main backups are going to be and everything. The last game, I could care less and stuff. I think because of the Hall of Fame game, the Chargers get an extra game in the preseason, so very nice. I'm going to be rooting for a couple of the little backups, especially some of the undrafted guys that we picked up. I get to see DJ Ugalata. He's going to be throwing the football for me, man. I'm so excited. I get the DJU experience. I've only seen it when he played at Clemson, when he played at Oregon State, when he played at Florida State. Now I get it full on. As a Los Angeles Charger, let's go.
Yeah, the two teams, it's you and the Lions that get 5 preseason games versus everyone else. So technically, you have the best opportunity to win the preseason, whatever that is worth to you. But
it's a lot, man.
Hey, listen, for the Bears being off-season champs like 4 years in a row has been just what they've looked for. So, it is what it is.
Remember when the teams were trying to beat the Ravens in the preseason like a couple of years back, and that was like the greatest thing ever. Oh, the Ravens lost in the preseason. It's last time in 5 years they lost it. It was like a victory. Preseason's good for building confidence. It's because it gets you to know okay, what is my team going to run on this situation? What is their plan on this? There's a lot of important things to the preseason. I know the games are not the best, but in terms of you're a sicko and you want to know what your team specifically is going to do, they're important so that way you can know, oh, this is the tendencies and they try certain shit. It's a nice little testing ground for them and stuff. So
yeah, whenever the Ravens finally lost, the team probably ran off doing that. Who was that? It was the Timberwolves, wasn't it? It was Pat Beverly.
Yeah, Timberwolves legend Patrick Beverly.
That was what that felt like. But
the playing game, baby.
Yeah, playing game. It wasn't even the second playing game. It was the first playing game, if I remember right.
Yeah.
but a lot of these preseason games will feel like playing games for a lot of these players because they're trying to make the roster, to Chase's point. And one of the things that we can see is teams really building towards shaping together their final rosters. And we got a lot of news over the past few weeks giving us kind of better glimpses of what those teams would look like. And so I think one of the biggest things we need to start with is the news coming out of Pittsburgh, where none other than Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers. It's a 1-year contract, $13.65 million, and with $10 million guaranteed. But, on the heels of that, the Steelers kind of decided, hey, we're going to try to go sort of all in on this season. I mean, I wouldn't say it was all in, but they're trying to build as best as they can around Rodgers. And they said, let's talk to the Dolphins, and they send over Jonnu Smith and a late round pick swap. They get Jonnu Smith and send a late round pick swap. They also send over Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Steelers, and it is a interesting few days for Steelers fans. I know a lot of them were excited when the news first broke because they were like, shit, we're getting Jonnu Smith, who had a very good season towards the end of last year with Miami, particularly as injuries started to pile up for the Dolphins, and Tua's throwing is a little bit hampered here and there. But at the same time, they were then kind of dashed because they found out who they lost. And a lot of Steelers fans that, particularly Austin, who we are both friends with, he was not too thrilled about the fact that they had to lose Micah Fitzpatrick in the trade. And there's been some conversation, Art Smith doesn't have the best track record with tight ends or, kind of offenses in general. However, he does run a lot of 2 tight end sets, and they do have Pat Fryermuth. Now they have Jonnu Smith. What this will allow them to do when it comes to the run game, I think, is going to be interesting, considering they also sent George Pickens to Dallas, and now they just have DK Metcalf as the primary receiver who they got from the Seahawks. So it does kind of, as we talk about the preseason, and to your point about getting more of an idea of how the offenses of these teams are going to run, that Pittsburgh's always been kind of a run-heavy offense. And I think that's one of the reasons why Rodgers wanted to go there, is because he didn't want to have to throw the ball as much. And that was if we look back, that was one of the reasons why he wanted to go to New York in the first place, to the Jets, was because of the Breece Halls of the world. So now, they lose Najee Harris, but they get Caleb. Now there's, they have him, Jalen Warren. Maybe they can run a few more 2 tight end sets. Maybe leak out one of the tight ends if Jonnu Smith is finished with his blocking assignments. It adds a little bit of, I want to say, nuance to this Pittsburgh Steelers offensive options. But I want to get your thoughts on Rodgers going to the Steelers and the trade. What did you think about these moves for Pittsburgh?
I actually like him for the Steelers because, Rodgers, I saw some glimpses. I still think he's solid enough. Like, he's still good enough. He can still throw that nice, beautiful spiral. I'm not too concerned with Rodgers, to be honest. I like it. I like that he's with a very freakish, big target like DK Metcalf. I think that's going to help out with the throw radius, like for Rodgers that he is now as a quarterback. So I kind of like it a lot. And the Steelers, they still have other options at wide receiver. Getting a guy like Jonnu Smith, I really like a lot too. Picking up Jalen Ramsey also in the trade, like I thought that was good. Ramsey, he kind of had like a bounce back season for the Dolphins. Like he really did have a bounce back season. And look, Micah Fitzpatrick, he's one of the best safeties in the NFL for sure. But the Steelers, they've drafted well. They have 2 younger prospects that they want to kind of throw out there, and that they feel like, hey, you know what? Micah wasn't winning us games. We need to get people that can help us win games. And having more offensive explosion there. Like Fryermuth, he's not really like the most explosive tight end. We know with Rodgers during his time in Green Bay, he loves having multiple tight ends. Look at the freaking Jermichael Finlay and all these other randoms that would just catch touchdowns in the red zone because they were tight ends for Rodgers. So that you're just playing to Aaron Rodgers' strength. You pick up one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL in Jalen Ramsey. Micah Fitzpatrick, he goes home to Miami, born and raised there. So he gets to play there and play with a bunch of other idiots on defense. So, yeah. I like that for both teams, to be honest.
Yeah, my concern about particularly the Ramsey and Micah Fitzpatrick swap is that Ramsey is like 2 years older than Micah Fitzpatrick. So like from the perspective of somebody continuing to perform at the level that they have prior, like that's really what you're doing. You're buying future production based off of past production. And for me, it's one of those situations where it's just like, is this guy going to be able to continue playing at that level? Because Father Time sort of is undefeated. Minka, you losing that locker room leader aspect, but you're also losing that just experience aspect, because now who is going to help coach up those 2 younger players that you're mentioning? I mean, yes, they have a very talented coaching staff at in the Pittsburgh facility led by Mike Tomlin. But at the same time, there is something to be said for having that intermediary of, the DB coach says X, and then the veteran player helps translate that, or kind of helps act as sort of like a buffer to be like, all right, this is what he means when they're saying this, or this is what he means when he's saying that. So it can add a little bit of like, it does on paper look like a step forward from a pure numbers perspective. My thing is always the idea of what does losing that player mean for the locker room and for the development of the other players. So Jalen Ramsey has never struck me as a guy who is like, let's teach people, you know what I mean? Like, let's help people develop. And maybe I'm wrong about that, and there's just information out there that I haven't seen, but it just doesn't feel as though he's that kind of player. And that kind of goes against the Pittsburgh mentality. Granted, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger and Kenny Pickett notwithstanding.
Yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't matter. Deb Texas, Mike Tomlin, 9-8, 10-7. I mean, you're gonna do something. You're gonna have a winning record. It doesn't matter. This guy's been around since I was in high school, and so, like, I was in literally ninth grade, and when this motherfucker got hired to the Steelers and stuff like that. So I've been around with this guy. I've seen this guy. This guy is like his coaching tenure in the NFL can almost drink alcohol. So it's like,
that's true. That's true.
I trust what Tomlin's doing. He's building I think Tomlin looks at it as that he feels the AFC North is much more open than like what a lot of pundits and experts would think, and he is making these more aggressive ass moves. And look, they got something out of it. Like,
that's true.
They probably didn't want to pay Minka too. Safeties are. The safety positions is like the running back on defense. On defense, they're the most disrespected position. Like when it comes time to pay every other position, you look at the safeties and you're like, do I have to? Like, can I just trade you? Like, look, as a Chargers fan, like I love Derwin James, but I'm gonna understand when Derwin James gets traded or we don't re-sign him.
I too will understand when Derwin James and I'll be happy for it.
Like I understand. Like Derwin should be a Charger for life. Like I do not care his production. He gets penalties and whatever. Who cares about all that? I want him on my team because he is a guy that I love to have on my team. He's a lovable guy, but he's the running back of the defense. So they're just gonna be like, who cares? We don't want to pay you all this money. Safeties they're just so disrespected. Like you know what's the worst when you're a corner and then they tell you, hey, you gotta go play safety, and you're like, oh fuck. That's when you gotta start thinking like, hey, who else is available? Like, am I getting traded? What teams want me? You call your agent. You say, hey, what's my name out there like? Because it ain't looking good for you, buddy.
Yeah, you gotta start figuring out what expenses can I cut back on, because these checks maybe they start being a little different. Yeah. But for speaking of people not getting paid and checks being a little different, let's stay in the AFC North and go from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati, where we have first-round draft pick Shamar Stewart, and he's wearing this uniform here kind of just as a courtesy for the pictures, because it looks as though there are some serious impasses between Shamar Stewart and the Cincinnati Bengals. The defensive player who was drafted in the first round has not signed his first-round contract. And between him and, which today I found out, and it made me very annoyed and sad at the same time, there's only 2 first-round picks who have not signed their contracts, Shamar Stewart and Jahdae Barron for the damn Denver Broncos. So George Patton, get on that shit right now. Otherwise, that's going to also piss me off. But sticking with Shamar Stewart, there seems to be some kind of communication breakdown, contract issues, whether the money is going to be fully guaranteed, a whole bunch of just different things that they cannot get on the same page about. And a majority of it is that guaranteed money. But as a result, he has kind of, given the proverbial peace sign to the organization, and he is returned to the Texas A&M facilities to do a lot of his workouts and continue to keep his physical shape in, his conditioning, and so on and so forth. But with training camps starting in a few days, that is a serious issue for the Cincinnati Bengals, particularly a Cincinnati Bengals team that the defense kind of let them down. And by kind of, I mean absolutely let them down in multiple games last year. And they really, really need the pass rush help. To your point about the AFC North being more open than people believe, if Tomlin thinks that his team has a very good chance against the Ravens, he has to believe that he has a very good chance against the Bengals to go punch for punch, as long as he can keep the score down, as long as he can keep Joe Burrow and Chase and Higgins off out of the end zone. And part of that is going to be saying, how can we best monopolize the time when we have the ball? And if the Bengals don't have Shamar Stewart, it's easier for them to control the clock through things like the run game. So for the Bengals, this is a serious issue now that kind of has blown up a lot more than they probably wanted it to. but especially because of the news that came out today about him returning to going to the Texas A&M facility. So what are your thoughts on this Shamar Stewart situation?
Man, it's crazy. I know a lot of people weren't a fan of the pick. I like Shamar Stewart. I think he could develop into being a really good pro. He's just a freak, and those freak athletes, they don't come very often in this world. So I really like him a lot. Like, I know that he didn't have like the best sack numbers in college, but I still think he's a freak athlete. I just want to know, what is he looking for? Like, what are the contract? Because we don't really know much of how much. Like, is he looking for fully guaranteed money year one? Is there something like in the yearlies? Like, it's such a weird situation. I mean, the Bengals, they, besides signing the big three on offense, they've had a weird situation with the defensive side of the ball with Trey Hendrickson. And I've been on the Bengals side on the Trey Hendrickson thing. I said, hey, look, Trey Hendrickson, your pigment is white. Your athleticism is going to go away faster than anything else. Shamar Stewart, I don't know what's going on, man. It's actually just a weird situation. We haven't seen this since like Joey Bosa held out for the Chargers. Like, that was the last time we've had anything close to similar to this, where it was like Bosa and the Chargers were holding it up, but that was the Chargers being cheap. Like, they just didn't want to pay Bosa like the third round pick, the third overall pick money that Bosa was, because he was picked third overall. So it's just like, and I think Bosa signed mad late into training camp, and then he didn't even play until like week 8 or 9 for the Chargers. Can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, we haven't seen anything like this since the Joey Bosa. But it's not like Shamar Stewart was a top 5 pick. Shamar Stewart was, 17th overall pick? So, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it seems to be that part of the holdup is reportedly over future guarantees. Per the Cincinnati Enquirer, the Bengals are seeking to set a new precedent with rookie contracts that allows the team to void future guaranteed money. And he's understandably not on board with this and has gone public with his grievances. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, he said, I'm 100% right. I'm not asking for anything we haven't done before, but in this case, they just want to win arguments more than winning games, which, I think is kind of a very valid point. It does seem to me, I mean, like, unless there's something in his medical profile that indicates that there could be some injury concerns, I'm not 100% sure what the issue here is about future guarantees, but this is a team that desperately needs pass rush help. And, desperately, not just pure pass rush, but it's a form of QB pressures. It's everything that goes into pass rush. It's not just the idea of getting sacks. It is, to your point, the whole idea of being able to generate that pressure on quarterbacks and to be able to make the tackles. Like, if you can stop the run, and that's also a job for some of those outside linebacker defensive end types, then you're very valuable for a team to be able to have. And particularly the Bengals, where if you're in situations where, let's say, a great example would be the Steelers situation. You are late in a game and the Steelers are up by a touchdown or a field goal, and it's a close game, like low-scoring game. You need to be able to stop the run, and so that you can get the ball back to Burrow, and Burrow gets another opportunity. Same thing with the Ravens, where the Ravens have that powerful 1-2 run punch with Lamar and Derrick Henry teams, and you play both of those teams 4 times a year. And we can't necessarily rule out Cleveland with the addition of Quinshon Judkins, who there's a little something there too. But it is a whole issue there, and it is kind of a thing where they gotta figure this out, because the historically tight-fisted Bengals front office, they did just open the checkbooks for Chase, Higgins, and Burrow. So you can see an argument as to why they're like, all right, we took care of the people we really need to take care of. Do we need to pay this first round pick? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, sure. Your salary cap numbers next year and the year after are going to be in a little bit of a crunch because of the money that you gave to Chase and Higgins and Burrow, which they earned. But at the same time, your salary cap's also going to go up a little bit every single year. And that's something that, if this time around you're having an issue with your first round pick, then next year when you're trying to save money by letting someone go because you think you can draft somebody, you're going to run into the same issue there with players being less amenable to going with team friendly. I mean, not even team friendly, just standardized deals, because it seems as though standardized deals. So that's going to be a bit of an issue. And while we're here, let's stay in the AFC North and and pop over to Cleveland, where Quinshon Judkins. I didn't get a picture for this one, but Quinshon Judkins picked up a DV charge in Broward County, Florida, which is actually where I was born and raised. But he will pick up a DV charge there, and it should be noted. The only thing I will say about this, because we obviously don't know all the details, the only thing I will say is that in Florida, under Florida law, as required, you have to, when there's DV allegations and things like that, there has to be some kind of an arrest, and the arrest has to be public. So, and that's the other aspect of it. Like the common Florida man thing is because under Florida law, anytime somebody gets arrested, the newspapers have the ability to just record information and then publish it. So it's not like the Florida man meme. Obviously, it's a thing, but at the same time, it is a thing primarily because the newspapers have better access to arrest records or charging records and things like that. So to combine all those in one little nutshell, who knows what's going to happen with Quinshon Judkins?
Yeah,
but I mean, the NFL has a historically pretty lax domestic violence record when it comes to doing anything to players. But on top of that, they usually don't do it until the season after. So it could be a situation where it's more of a concern for 2026 versus 2025. Mm-hmm. But, hey, you're on a team with Deshaun Watson, and it's a fun situation for everybody involved. I'm sure Cleveland was like, listen, we already have enough drama this offseason with Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, and Kenny Pickett. We did not need this going into training camp.
Yeah, so, well, I'll be watching the Cleveland Browns preseason. For John and I's favorite quarterback, you see my quarterback, Justin Herbert, went to Oregon. John's favorite quarterback, Bo Nix, went to Oregon. So we both decided Dylan Gabriel. We can't like each other's teams because we're division rivals. That's stupid. So Dylan Gabriel, we will spiritually root for him because we saw a picture of his midget ass next to our giant ass quarterbacks taking a picture together. We said that's our guy, Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel. So I'll be watching the preseason closely because I want Dylan Gabriel to make the roster. I'm rooting for Dylan Gabriel. He's our guy.
I think making the roster is pretty sure, kind of a sure thing for him. Like
they have a bunch.
He'd be the third string quarterback, but I think he'd make the roster.
Over Shedeur? Oh.
Yeah, no, Shedeur would be the second string quarterback, and they keep and Flacco or Pickett's the starter.
Yeah, they have 5 quarterbacks, man. I don't know.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, Watson's just in the nebula because he's still injured.
Yeah.
He'll just be on IR, just getting massages. But
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, it definitely isn't, but he has a track record of not making good decisions in general. But let's stick with running backs, and we have 2 running back pieces of news, or 2 running back signings. The first is Nick Chubb going. Oh, that picture's didn't realize it was pixelated. But Nick Chubb going to the Houston Texans, and that is a 1-year, $2.5 million contract, a $575 signing bonus, and $1.5 million guaranteed. And he's going to be going there. He's going to be backing up Joe Mixon. They're going to see what Nick Chubb has left in the tank. I think this was kind of to be expected. Not the idea of Nick Chubb going to the Texans, but the idea of Nick Chubb being the backup.
Yeah.
This was sort of a expected move by whatever team was going to add him. Most teams pretty much have their running back rooms sort of figured out. I mean, they know who their starter is at the very least. The whether or not they can get a better backup, that's the question. And for the Texans, when Joe Mixon was out, the complementary backs, they did a pretty decent job of supporting CJ Stroud and the passing offense. But at the same time, having somebody like Nick Chubb is always better than not having somebody like Nick Chubb. The question is going to be whether the Texans are getting Nick Chubb or the ghost of Nick Chubb after all of the injuries that have racked up over the course of his career. So what do you think about this pairing of Mixon and Chubb? As I wouldn't say like the 2-headed monster. I would say more of like a 1.5 and a half-headed monster. But the idea of if anything happens to Mixon, because things are now going to start happening to Mixon, it's just a balance of probability. the idea of having Nick Chubb in the building?
I think it's fine. Like Mixon's very ball dominant. Like you could tell, like he would get upset. Like remember, like there was the only time the Texans had like we heard any news about the Texans was like, oh, Joe Mixon was mad because they didn't give him enough touches or something like that. So he's very ball dominant. Like he very much wants the ball. So having a guy like Chubb, like if you get like a half decent version of Nick Chubb, oh yeah, this is great. You know, you get a good 1-2 punch, especially in the goal line settings. Like Nick Chubb's a bowling ball; he's gonna find his way into the end zone, so that's great for the goal line. I think he's a better goal line back than Joe Mixon. But yeah, no, it's all right. It's a decent sign. You can tell the Texans they've been one of the more aggressive teams in their division, and rightfully so. They have staked to it 2 years in a row, and I don't see how they don't do it 3 years in a row because the rest of the division just stinks. So they're just like, let's take advantage. Sure, we'll take a flyer on Nick Chubb. If he ends up being good, great. Because, Mixon, he can get banged up from time to time. It's not like it's a formality. They still have that one running back that they drafted a while back, right? They still have the
Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, they still have Dameon Pierce, or did he go somewhere else?
I think they still have Dameon Pierce. I know they have, I can never pronounce his last name properly, Abungawale.
Okay.
But they have talked about there has been potential rumor that he would get cut. Pierce is still with the Texans.
Yeah, so they still have Pierce. Pierce is not like great, but like he's shown like little flashes, and every time I would watch a Texans game, the commentators would be like, "Oh, Dameon Pierce, this guy, he just is such a team player, plays special teams, does whatever is asked of him. Team loves him, coaches love him, so yeah." They're fine. They have 3 running backs.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because that was a team that really like one great way to reduce pressure on your O-line is to be able to run the ball very well because O-line likes to go forward versus moving backwards. And when you're running, you're taking the ball out of CJ Stroud's hands and you're at least moving it forward. And not to say like taking the ball out of CJ Stroud's hands is a bad thing, but you are in a situation where you have Nico Collins. You don't have Tank Dell, and you've got 2 rookies, in essence, there as your wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3. So the ability to run the ball is going to be very important to help take that pressure off of those rookies as they get better acclimated into NFL passing offenses and dealing with NFL defenses. But let's stay with running backs, and we travel from Houston over to Denver, where J.K. Dobbins, Chargers legend.
Yeah.
Chargers 1-year legend. Signed with Denver. It's a 1-year, $5.25 million deal. It happened towards the beginning of June. And Dobbins goes there to kind of be the 1A and have RJ Harvey be the 1B. RJ Harvey was drafted in the, why am I now forgetting it? I want to say second round. Yeah. Of the draft in April, May, whatever it was. Feels like years ago now, the draft, but it was not that long ago. And RJ Harvey, when he came in, everyone was like, okay, now Peyton's got another weapon that he's going to be able to use and have in the passing game that running backs historically have done very well under the Sean Payton offensive scheme. But Denver wanted to have a additional person in the running back room. They bring in J.K. Dobbins, so that pushes Audric Estime and Jaleel McLaughlin down a little bit further on that depth chart. McLaughlin, undrafted free agent. Estime, the issues with fumbling. Great runner, but definitely some issues with fumbling that have popped up from his time in Denver. So we'll see how that one shakes out. But as it pertains, with speaking of rosters and preseason and all that. But the addition of J.K. Dobbins really does add the ability for Denver to have that sort of clock-killing running back. And part of the drawback for last year with the offense, as the offense took a lot of steps forward, was they could not effectively run the ball. And part of the reason why Bo had, I don't want to say inflated passing numbers, because his passing numbers were not like otherworldly in any way, shape, or form, compared to like Joe Burrow as 4,000 yards. I mean,
for a rookie.
Yeah. He had one of the highest rookie passing numbers, but he had one of the highest rookie touchdown passing numbers. And part of the reason why they had to do that was just the sheer fact that they could not kill the clock. So they had to try to do short passes to try to eat up clock. And now, you bring in someone like Evan Ingram to help that out because they're using a blocking tight end as the tight end one. It does add another dimension to the Broncos offense, and it takes a lot of pressure off of Bo Nix having to run because they didn't really do a lot of designed runs for Bo last year, but he had the ability to scramble. And so now that ability to scramble, you can sort of hide that a bit more and use it when needed, obviously when a play's breaking down, but particularly the designed runs, you can keep those a lot more in the back pocket. So hopefully Dobbins, hope he stays healthy. There's always that injury concern, injury risk with Dobbins. He did miss a couple games for the Chargers last year, and Gus Edwards had to step in. So this is for me, it's a good signing for Denver as a team. For me as a fantasy football player, particularly in Dynasty, it is terrible because I made sure I got RJ Harvey in a lot of leagues just because of the homer in me. But also, it is on paper a very good opportunity for a running back who, like I said, they've historically done very well in the Sean Payton scheme. So what are your thoughts on Dobbins coming to Denver and your fond memories of J.K. Dobbins as a Charger?
I was there live. Chargers and Bengals. Chargers were up big at halftime. Thinking about leaving the game early because we were up big. But I knew my Chargers would find a way to choke. And almost choked they did against the Cincinnati Bengals. Probably one of the best Sunday night games you'll watch. And then Herbert turned it on. And then on the 22-yard line, a toss play to J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins just kept running. Collinsworth on commentary, go down, go down. He did not want to go down. He flipped into the end zone, and I lost my voice because that was the coolest moment. So I love J.K. Dobbins. I like the move for Denver. I like that. I think what will help J.K. Dobbins compared to the situation in the Chargers is that J.K. Dobbins will actually have people to complement him. And Bo Nix, who is a good running quarterback, like just because he's wide, I'm not going to say sneaky athletic. He's a good running quarterback. Like Bo Nix can show that he can run the ball if needed. So that's going to take a lot of pressure off Dobbins. And then also having a good piece in RJ Harvey, a much younger back, someone that has fresher legs in the NFL, someone that will complement well with Dobbins. Because that was the problem with his time with the Chargers was that like Gus Edwards was either banged up or hurt. Kamani Vidal just couldn't find his way onto the like pretty much onto the field or with the roster pretty much. So like Kamani Vidal couldn't find time to like give J.K. Dobbins breathers. And so that's kind of what hurt. And like Herbert can run, but but Jim Harbaugh is not making Herbert do all these, especially with all these random injuries that Herbert just picks up and we don't find out what they are until like the end of the season. And he was coming with that plantar fasciitis. So like you have to always be careful with that with Herbert. So he's not going to be getting a lot of design QB runs. So I like this a lot for Denver because you actually have pieces to complement for J.K. Dobbins. It's not like J.K. Dobbins is going to be like, oh, okay, here's the ball to you all the time. Like he's not going to touch it like 20 times like he was with the Chargers. Like he's going to touch it at least like 10, 15 max because RJ Harvey may get like 10 touches. You're going to have a design RPO for Bo Nix, or Bo Nix is going to be on a read option. He will spring out. So, yeah, I like it because it takes a lot of pressure off of J.K. Dobbins. So, I think it's a smart signing. It's also a one-year deal, so it's not that it doesn't hurt at all, to be honest. And he got a pay raise. Like he was only making like $900,000 plus incentives with the Chargers. Now he gets $5.2 million in Denver, and the tax is much better there. So yeah.
But staying in the AFC West and going to Dobbins' old team, quick little hitter. July 4th, ladies and gentlemen, always remember to be careful with fireworks. One, you don't want to Jason Pierre-Paul yourself, and other for second, you never know. It doesn't necessarily need to be a JPP situation. It could be a Najee Harris situation, who had a firework mishap on July 4th and now has a little bit of an eye injury. I think he's going to miss the start of training camp. At least that's kind of the news currently. You don't know if that's necessarily going to change, but not a great start for somebody who needs to try to do his best to keep Omari and Hampton off the field. The first round pick for the Chargers back in the 2025 draft. But Chase, what are your thoughts here on this on this injury for Najee Harris. A completely avoidable injury. Talk about non-contact.
It's typical fucking Chargers luck. Every time we sign someone, I get excited. I'm like, fuck yeah, we got this guy. Oh, cool, 1-year deal. They get injured or they do something stupid off the field. It's just like something about the Chargers. It's just like, I don't know if it's California pollution that we have or something. The air quality is just fucks with their head. But they just do stupid shit. And this is just so stupid. Like, just so
really
dumb. Like Najee Harris, come on, man. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, oh, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And of course, Najee Harris never missed a game in his whole NFL career. One of the main purposes of signing this guy was because, hey, this guy can play. He's always on the football field. He might miss some time. I don't know how, like, dude, an eye injury, that's important for a running back. You need, not that Najee Harris has the best vision as a running back, but fuck, you need that. It's like, Jesus, hey, well, you know what?
He has the best vision in the running back.
Yeah, I'm just saying you need it. Hey, Raheem Sanders, my guy.
Yeah.
It's your time to shine. Oh, I can't wait to watch you in the preseason. I can't wait. I can't wait till NFL.com puts the Raheem Sanders highlights. Everyone will be like, oh my God, who's Raheem Sanders? And I'm going to be like, I knew all along, man. The South Carolina Gamecock. I was watching tape on him. And then, maybe it's just the Omarion Hampton, Raheem Sanders, two-headed monster, rookie running backfield. And it's just, wow, I have two great rookie running backs. And this is amazing. And this
is how you can tell off-season fever dreams are real, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so annoyed. Did you know our second rounder? He hasn't signed his contract yet, Trey Harris.
Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, a lot of that's happening now because I think who was it? I don't remember which team decided to give a fully guaranteed contract to a second rounder, but somebody did it, and now a lot of the second round kids want it, and I completely understand it. Like, I mean, I get why they would push for it. So, you know, more power to you if you're able to get it. And if teams are willing to make that commitment to you. And, you know, a lot of times now in the NFL draft, we are seeing just as athletics change and human evolution changes, what it means to be a second round pick. It's a lot different than what it was 15 years ago. So, you know, if teams are willing to make that commitment because they want that person to be there, then, hey, go for it. You know, do right by the players.
The Chargers overpaid for Ladd McConkey last year. People were calling it like when McConkey's contract came out and it was pretty much like a first round contract. Everyone's like, what the? Why are the Chargers? And now people see why the Chargers did it because he's a beast. And so, I mean,
speaking of Chargers wide receivers, Mike Williams is going to be starting on the PUP list.
Yeah, nothing's new. Nothing's new. Like, water's wet. Like, great. Back on the PUP list you go.
So what you're saying is Chargers are going to sign Keenan Allen.
I'll see you in week 4, Mike Williams. I can't wait. I'll deal with Quentin Johnston as the X receiver for like 4 weeks, dropping balls.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh my God, Quentin! Every time I see a Quentin Johnston route video, I'm just like, it's just like Ben Simmons training in the offseason. It's not, nothing's gonna change, guys. He still has to catch the football. It doesn't matter how open he gets. It's not the routes that are the problem. It's the hands. Can't catch. Yeah, you can't catch a common cold, man. If you gave Quentin Johnston a cold, he'll somehow drop it. Like, Quentin Johnston probably is the only person in the world that dropped COVID-19. When COVID-19 was spreading everywhere, Quentin Johnston never got it. He could be next to a teammate with COVID-19, and he would just be like, oh, I can't catch it. Because he can't catch. That's how bad his hands are. He just can't catch anything.
Well, you know, one team that doesn't really have that bad of a problem, Indianapolis Colts. They have some pretty decent wide receivers on there. But the problem has always been, who is getting them the football? Is it somebody who apparently can hit really, really accurate 65-yard passes, but can't hit anything else?
No, we're not doing this, Big Tony.
Or is it going to be Daniel Jones? because Anthony Richardson, the latest.
I'll save you and Matt and Big Tony. Don't worry.
The latest update on Anthony Richardson has been that after missing most of OTAs and minicamp due to a shoulder injury, he's saying that it looks to be good going into training camp. There's a video of him throwing the football. He looks strong, and he has to overcome the concept, the narrative that he is consistently hurt. But they always do have Daniel Jones there as a kind of break in case of emergency situation. But Daniel Jones is getting a bulk of the first team reps, and coaches seem to be pretty pleased with what Daniel Jones is doing. So let's do a little fantasy booking here. What do we think are really is the odds of Anthony Richardson being the starter all 17 games?
Oh man!
I mean, what I mean by that is excusing like if it's a situation where he comes into the season injured, we'll discount that. But I'm saying like in the rest of the season, once he is starting, the idea of him completing the whole season.
I would say plus 500. No, it's not looking good for my guy, Big Tony, man. It's just not. Like, it hurts me. All my favorite bad quarterbacks just seem to just get thrown to the wayside. But there's still hope for Will Levis, man. Will Levis, there's still hope. Saints, you could trade for him. You don't need to start Tyler Shough. You could trade for Will Levis, just saying. Yeah, I don't have any hope, man, that he'll be. Like, Daniel Jones, like, I always felt Danny just got a bad – I just felt Dable just hated Daniel Jones, and it was just not giving him the best opportunities to show his skill set. Because, like, in a sense, this is kind of good for Big Tony because Daniel Jones and him are very similar, where Daniel Jones was not being talked about at all during his college football, his final year of college football.
Yeah.
Like, he just tested well at the combines and stuff, and then people started watching film and be like, hey, there's something there. He was always a project quarterback. Like, he was a project that if he turned out well, it was like, oh shit, yeah, this guy's good. Same with Anthony Richardson. Richardson is a complete project, an absolute blank slate. We don't know if he's good, but he has arm strength. But if we can get everything else working, that'll be good. But I think this is good because, like, you don't have to give up on Richardson. Like, if Daniel Jones plays well, hey, screw it. Try to convince Anthony Richardson this is good. You can learn under him. Hey, you're still young. He's still he's super young.
If I'm Anthony Richardson, though, like, this will be the second year in a row. Where this actually would it be the third?
You haven't learned under Daniel Jones yet, man. Daniel Jones can teach him some things.
All right, I'm that.
Daniel
Jones can teach you how to run really fast and then trip.
You know, Daniel Jones has the fastest run speed in NFL history, according to Amazon. Faster than Lamar. This guy's a complete athlete. But yeah, no. I just think Daniel Jones, like, I think they'll be nice. They'll give Big Tony the actual starting job, and then sooner or later, Daniel Jones will take over the starting job. Especially, like, I think they start off pretty rough in their schedule. Like, it's not like the Colts' schedule is like easy to start off with. So I think
that's a good question.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they start off with and then you guys
Broncos at Titans at Rams Raiders.
That's tough.
That's not
the first two games. The first two games are tough. You got to face the Dolphins. Like, sure, you might put up stats against the Dolphins, but that's another high-powered offense or defense to go against. And then you got to go against one of the best defenses in the NFL, in the Broncos. Like, that's tough. That's tough for Big Tony. That's even tough for Daniel Jones. So.
Yeah, and like the Chechen in The Dark Knight, my dogs are hungry. They are chomping at the bit. They are waiting, and then you got to go to Tennessee and then the Rams. Ooh.
Well, Tennessee.
Tennessee's like not going to be like super difficult, but by week 3 we'll see really what Cam Ward is.
Well, they would be difficult if they just started Will Levis, but since they're not starting Will Levis, I don't know.
But that is that's kind of the news for the week, which leads us, ladies and gentlemen, to the real talk. The real conversation. We're talking here about Anthony Richardson, about Will Levis and Cam Ward. We've talked a little bit about defenses, Rodgers, and how these defenses try to attack the quarterback. But we want to hear it from kind of the quarterbacks themselves. And we have the ability to do that with the second season of Netflix's quarterback season, or quarterback show, executive produced by Peyton Manning, and it fucking annoyed the shit out of me to see that Mahomes is a executive producer on that thing as well. And I was like, oh, this guy. Now he's got to have Joe Burrow. He's going to be able to have editing control over the things that Joe Burrow says in this show. This is ridiculous. But which also annoys me because I'm like, that means we're probably never going to see Josh Allen on this quarterback show.
Yeah.
I would really
I don't want that guy on that show.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to have.
He's stealing all my thunder, man. People saying he's the best quarterback. It's me, man.
I would love to have a full season of being able to see Josh Allen, particularly because how they cover the rest and recovery that these quarterbacks have to go through, and the amount of hits that Allen takes. I mean, he's gotten a lot smarter about it and knowing when to slide more and things like that as the years have progressed. But also because of those early career hits, things can more easily pile up. So I do want to see that, and I know we're going to get hard knocks. But quarterback this year covered the 2024 season from the perspective of Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, and Joe Burrow, as I mentioned. And obviously, going into the season, I don't think when he agreed to sign up for it, I don't think Kirk Cousins planned the season out the way that he did, or the way that it happened, but at least made for compelling television. I will say that. And it is fascinating to me that it is now 2 years, the 2 years that we've had seasons of quarterback. It has followed the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, and both times the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons has gotten benched. Mariota got benched for Desmond Ridder, and now Kirk Cousins has gotten benched for Michael Penix Jr. So that is a weirdly fascinating thing to me. If I am, if quarterback season 3 happens, which may happen for the 2026 season, airing in 2027, if they go to receiver for this year for the 25 season, if I am the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, I am turning down every offer. I'm like, I don't know if this is cursed. I don't know what it is. Honestly, if I'm a quarterback in the NFC South, I am turning it down just in the off chance that it is a divisional curse, not a team curse, just of the Falcons. But what I thought we could do is I thought we could go quarterback by quarterback.
Yeah, that'd be easier.
About their perspectives and what they brought to the show. So you tell me, dealer's choice, which quarterback would you like to start with?
Let's go with Joe Burrow. He's kind of the most tamed quarterback on it. Not much to. Kirk is last.
No, we're
gonna spend hours talking about Kirk.
As you say, tame quarterback. The picture that I put up is him getting everybody to settle, get everybody to quiet down. So the season for Joe Burrow. I mean, we know from the outside looking in what happened. We know that this team, the defense, really did let them down. And that the offense, they really held up their end of the bargain many, many times. And throughout the course of what they show us for this season of quarterback, we really do see that. You see the pain and the annoyance on Joe Burrow's face. And I know Chase is going to talk about how media trained Joe Burrow is, and he is to a very good point, to an extensive point. But you could still see it in some of his body language. And then, one thing that you never want to see happen is sometimes issues can start somewhere and transfer to somewhere else, right? They can create other issues elsewhere. And one thing that you have to have is that mental focus, that ability to stay on task, on topic. And that one drive where, I don't know if it was just one drive, but I know it's one game, where they just kept having those false starts. Yeah. And Burrow gets so pissed off. And you just, eventually you got to go, these players are so, I don't want to say nervous, but they are so wired and they are so focused on what's happening. And they got to be thinking to themselves, we have to do well this drive because we don't know if our defense is going to allow a score. You sometimes forget fundamentals. And there's a reason why they're called fundamentals for a reason, or there's a reason why they're called fundamentals. But the idea that this drilling into the head of what you have to do at all times, mistakes can just happen. And I did appreciate that Burrow had the leadership knowledge or the leadership experience, the emotional intelligence to say, I'm not going to yell about it to them. Because if I was messing up, I wouldn't want somebody to yell at me. And it seems as though the Bengals needed somebody to just yell at them a lot more than they'd had somebody yelling at them throughout the season, because you could see it from Zach Stevens that I don't want to say over his head, but because I mean this is a coach that's taken a team to the Super Bowl, but there is some level of eventually your coaching style can not translate properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, a great example is Pete Carroll in Seattle. There's only so much that overjoyous, positive outlook on life, can get you. And eventually players, when they've heard that same message, year 1 in training camp, year 2 in training camp, year 3, it starts to wear a little thin. You're like, all right, this guy's going to be positive, but we're going to miss the playoffs. Like, that's just what feels is going to happen. So, like, you can feel for Joe Burrow, and you can understand, like, what he was going through. And then on top of that, like, they win a game, and then his house gets broken into.
Yeah.
What is this bullshit? But you did get a little bit of the Joe Burrow, like, kind of behind the scenes, like with the what's it called, the reality TV show style, like confessionals and the stuff with his parents. I thought that was really cool, like him talking about his parents, his mom talking about how, like, maybe she did a little bit too much for him. I was looking at that, like, kind of from the perspective of an individual who may be interested in marrying Joe Burrow down the line. I'm like, you're going to have to make sure you know how to navigate that relationship between Burrow and his mom, because I'm not, like, she doesn't appear to be like a hovering or a overbearing in that sense, but it does come across as though her perspective or her thoughts are respected, which is as nicely as a way I can say that she is not like overbearing, but she's definitely going to be there. She's definitely going to be present. But what were your thoughts on Burrow as he was presented in this quarterback's show?
Very dull. Like, he was just doing his, like, we're just doing our thing. We just gotta go out there and execute and perform. I learned how to play piano and stuff. Like, anytime I got to Joe Burrow, I was just like, can I just fast forward through this segment? Like, unless they were in a game, I didn't really care too much. Like, he just seemed very aware the cameras were there, and I didn't feel like we saw too much of the real Joe Burrow. I felt like we were just getting, like, okay, cameras are here, I'm going to act a certain way around the cameras. Like, the real Joe Burrow was the one that was freaking out about those mental mistakes. That was the only time where I was like, that's why they wanted you on the show, because they know that you're, like, a mental psychopath, and we want that. But, like, instead, we only got for one game. But, yeah, you're right, Zach Taylor, like, got punked. Like, dude, like, Joe was trying to tell you, it's like at any job. If I went and yelled at a coworker, they would just be like, why is Chase yelling at me? He's like me. But if a manager went and yelled at a coworker, it's different, because the manager's a leader, and you don't have to respect your managers, but in a sense that you should. And Zach Taylor, it's clear to me, he doesn't yell. He doesn't do that.
Yeah, like, he could not get fired up. Like, even when they won, like, if you could, and I know we're gonna get to him in a bit, but, like, if you compare, like, him being fired up versus Dan Campbell being fired up, it's like, oh fuck! Like, you can understand why Detroit players would run through a wall with no helmet on for Dan Campbell versus Taylor.
And as someone who's played football, I had a coach that would just yell a lot. My coach would just yell for no fucking reason and stuff like that. That's just how he was and stuff. Like, and he wasn't a likable coach. But sometimes it's just one of those things where it's just like like when you play a sport like football and you get into that environment, just because your coach is yelling at you does not mean he hates you or anything like that. He's trying to show it in a different way, and you just gotta trust the way that your coach is trying to coach you on and stuff. And like that's where you always gotta be at. Like the good guy coaches, those are your like position coaches. They're the ones that are supposed to be like coddling you and stuff like that. But as a head coach, you can't be a coddler. You have to raise your voice eventually. That you're the voice, you're the leader and stuff. And it's clear to me Zach Taylor is not really much of a leader. He's a very smart mind in football. He's definitely a wizard when it comes to play calling and everything like that. But when it comes to like actually like leading these men, like that's why Joe Burrow was upset. Like, dude, fucking yell at them. Tell them stop at the ball starts. Can you say something to them and stuff? And he's like, like just stumbling and bumbling. And this is your franchise. You, Zach Taylor, as a coach, have one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. A franchise, like most coaches wish they could have this.
Wait, hold on, before you move on, it's not even that he has one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. He has the top 1 or number 2, depending on how you rank them, wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, you have something that most teams would salivate to have. And it's like if my quarterback told me that, I'm yelling at the offensive line. I'm telling them, hey, y'all gotta stop with the mental mistakes. Why do we watch film? Like, I would raise my voice, yell at them, and let them know, like, hey, you gotta do the right things and stuff. And that's always like the thing I always tell people too. And it's like anywhere, if you're in a leadership position at any type of job, there comes a time you gotta be stern and you gotta be strict and you gotta raise your voice. Like it's just how it is. Like I had a boss, very, you would think nicest human being. Oh, no way this person would ever raise their voice. She raised her voice at me once, and I was shocked. But like I understood why she did it. Like it was like I just have the mindset. I'm like I understood and stuff like that. But like you got to do that. You can't always be good cop. You have to be bad cop sometimes. And you know whether that leads to someone quitting or someone leaving, it is what it is. That person wasn't really the right. That person is not who you thought that person was. But in the NFL, all these players make a shit ton of money. Even like the practice squad players, they make more money than like people who have regular 9-to-5 jobs and stuff like that. So like these people are playing a game and they're making a lot of money. You're getting paid a lot of money to lead them, so you better push them and make them better. And Zach Taylor obviously does not know how to do that because Joe Burrow was quite frustrated, and you can see why the Cincinnati Bengals season was what it was. It's because of the leadership of Zach Taylor. Like, if anything, this is more exposed that Zach Taylor is not a good leader. Like, in my opinion, is he a good coach? Yeah, there's a difference. Coach, you can be a good coach. You can be someone that like knows how to do everything like X's and O's and everything like that. Definitely a good coach, but leader and coach, he ain't a leader. Like he ain't a leader.
That is something that a lot of OCs and DCs they get put through fire when they take that head coaching job. Like we're going to see that for a lot of these first-time head coaches throughout the league. For a great example is going to be Ben Johnson in Chicago. We saw it last year with a number of different first-time head coaches, and sometimes it just happens. Like you go in there, you have the best intentions, but the ability to lead this football team. I mean, leading is one thing. Leading a football team is something else. But when you have that requirement, sometimes they're just not that great at it. And it was kind of funny because I'm watching this with Colleen, my wife, and eventually she just goes, he needs to leave. Like she doesn't really like. I'm sitting there like I'm explaining different. Like whenever we watch football, like I'll pause it sometimes, or like I'll show her different clips. I'll be like, okay, this is what this defense is. This is what like because like she has a certain understanding of just they play football, right? Like that's she's never really been a football person like that. But I've been teaching her different aspects of like what cover 2 means, what cover 3 means, and quarters, and different what cover 0 because you had a lot of cover 0 talk in this season. But like teaching her all those sorts of things, and she's getting an appreciation for what quarterbacks have to go through. Now she loved the first season, she loved this season, but man, she was just like, yeah, he needs to leave. And I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. She's like, why not? I was like, the only way he leaves is if the Bengals refuse to pay him because they're not going to trade him. And she said, why wouldn't, like, what would the cost be to trade for Joe Burrow? And I said, well, if you're going to try to trade for Joe Burrow, you'd also have to be trading for Jamar Chase. And unless you're going to give a team like 7 or 8 first-round picks, I don't think the Bengals are going to allow a trade to happen where they lose Chase and Burrow. So it is kind of unfortunate that Burrow and the Bengals, they're hamstrung by so many things. Like, for example, we talked about it earlier with Shamar Stewart, and they're hamstrung by a front office that has historically been tight-fisted when it comes to spending money. They are hamstrung by a head coach that doesn't seem to know or doesn't seem to have the ability to lead a team the way that a team needs to be led. And there's a lot of talk there can be a lot of things said for someone like Kevin Stefanski in the division about how the Browns seasons have played out. But we saw that when you and I were doing the review of Hard Knocks, the in season, it was like Kevin Stefanski was trying. Like he was trying, and he was doing what he could to motivate that team.
Yeah.
And they just had severe personnel issues that they could not overcome. And a Jameis Winston, who for all of his great talent, can make some really terrible decisions sometimes during games, and then those decisions can snowball. But Stefanski was being a leader, and it's funny because coming into watching this show, I probably would have had Stefanski fourth when I come to ranking like head coaches in the division. But after watching it, I think I would be switching Taylor and Stefanski and having Taylor as the worst head coach in the division. Stefanski, I know, is at least trying. Like I can see that. And for everything that Taylor does well, a lot of that is the fact that he has a top 5 quarterback in the league and the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver. Not to mention the fact that his wide receiver 2 is like a top 20 wide receiver in the league. So it's like you have such an embarrassment of riches that why it's not translating. If you got to fire the DC, fire the DC. And I don't. And if you got to talk to your front office and get in their face and get the GM's face and be like, I don't care what, draft defensive talent, sign defensive talent, and get me a DC that's going to get the job done. Because if this is what we're dealing with, we are wasting the potential of this. Because you could easily see a situation where the Bengals have at least 2 more Super Bowl appearances since their last.
Oh yeah, they have
at least 2 Super Bowl appearances with the potential for an actual winning the Super Bowl. Like maybe they run into the Eagles, and then the Eagles, that defense is just what it is. But at the same time, we have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. There's always a chance. And that mentality,
man, the team might lock them both down.
that always a chance mentality. It works on a week-to-week basis. It doesn't work on a season-to-season basis if you don't build the team out properly. But let's move to. I think we'll save Kirk for last. We'll save our boy Kirk for last.
Kirk gets the last spot, baby.
But speaking of a team that has built properly and built well, you got to talk about the Detroit Lions and their quarterback, Jared Goff. And Goff's presence on this quarterback show, it was really dope to see. Because, and I was giving Colleen a little bit of she knew the trade vaguely with Stafford and Goff and all that. I told her back when that playoff game was happening. But because there was that I keep wanting to say backstage, like it's a wrestling show, but that locker room scene where MCDC gives him the game ball and he's like, you're good enough for Detroit. I was explaining to her that background, and to see Goff, like that transformation that has happened with him and the Detroit Lions, and seeing just like the city embrace him and the Jared Goff chants that keep happening, like. That was the first episode, and I was like, oh, we're in for a treat when it comes to the Detroit Lions and their coverage here in this show. Because this was, we know how the season went, and I remember, it was kind of sad because in the back of my mind while I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, yeah, but we're eventually getting to that Washington Commanders game. And I'm like, we're eventually getting to that game where you and I, like, during the preview, I keep coming back to it. Like, we said everything
we could not do to a T.
They did exactly what we said they shouldn't do. But and it's like in the background, I'm like, I know that's there. But at the same time, I'm like, Jared doesn't know it's there in this moment of what I'm seeing. So let's enjoy this ride for what it is. And this was a hell of a ride to see the mental and emotional development that Goff has had. And sure, he still makes bad decisions every now and then, right? Like he still tries to force a ball where it doesn't need to go and it gets picked off. Like, yes, those things happen. But to see him develop into much more of a like cerebral quarterback is really cool. And to see like Ben Johnson and some of the trick plays, the stumble bum, that was a fun touch. But what I liked a lot about Goff was that more than Burrow, because there's nothing really there outside of, hey, these are my parents, and some of the Kirk Cousins stuff that really focused, like kind of popped up more when it was him being benched, and then a little bit about his friends. You saw a lot of the Jared Goff home life, and you saw a lot of him and his wife. And was this just a great way for me to have an excuse to throw a picture of Kristen Harper up in this stream? It absolutely was, but I make no apologies. But this was a really cool to see the two of them, the wedding, And then at the end of the season, finding out that she's pregnant, that's always dope. But for Goff, it was kind of this journey of we have now established where we are. We have established that we are one of the benchmark teams of the NFC, like not just the NFC North, the NFC. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be a contender, you have to measure up against us. And that is so different from what it was before. And a lot of that is because of the leadership of Dan Campbell, but a lot of that is also because of Jared Goff. Like you could make the argument that Stafford, despite being one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league while he was with Detroit, didn't have like the it factor, which is wild considering he now has a Super Bowl ring. But like there is something that Goff had in him that has developed over these years in Detroit that you could believe. If somebody said to you, Jared Goff, Super Bowl winning quarterback, you'd be like, yeah, I can see it. I can't see it. And they have so many wonderfully talented pieces there, but it's another situation where defense was the problem. And not because the defense was bad. It's just because they got hit by the injury bug. And seeing Aiden Hutchinson, like that news report pop up during the show. But what I really liked was when they had that fourth down play. And they're trying to figure out, like, should we go for it? And Dan Campbell's like, I really did not feel as though it was fair to guys that we had, in essence, brought in off the street to go, hey, stop Green Bay from scoring with 40-something seconds left or whatever it was. And versus if I trust one of, if not the best league's offenses to just get a first down, I'd rather risk that than try to put this in the hands of the defense. And, you know, it plays out the way it needs to play out for that game. But to what we're talking about when it comes to Zach Taylor's coaching style, I feel as though Zach Taylor would have been like, yeah, let's just let the defense try to handle it.
Exactly.
Whereas Dan Campbell's like, I'm not going to put people in that position because I think he understands the importance of building confidence and the importance of building that just level of steamrollership where the defense can now feel like we not only did we contribute, but we contributed on the same level as one of the best offenses in the league. If you're somebody coming up off the street who hasn't played football in months or whatever, you go, that means I'm as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, it doesn't. You're not actually as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown, but the mind can play tricks on the body. Yeah. And when the mind plays tricks on the bodies, humans do incredible things. So I really liked seeing that from Dan Campbell, and I really liked seeing that from Jared Goff, that confidence that Goff had to be like, yeah, we can do it. We can figure this out. We will figure this out. And it was really dope. I loved the Jared Goff sections. But what were your thoughts on Goff and the Detroit Lions and their presentation?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, especially like in the first episode where Goff like really was open about the trade and how he was like, yeah, I don't think there was like maturity on both sides and stuff. But just how much Detroit really wanted him. They were just like, oh, he's on the table? Yeah, we want this guy. Obviously, the guy, Detroit's GM, Brad, he was part of the Rams when they drafted Goff. So he knows Goff pretty well. So it wasn't like anything that he hasn't seen. Like he knows in his quarterback. Dan Campbell believed in him. And it's cool to see that Jared Goff was able to grow in this city, you know, like was able to grow and become the starting quarterback of the Detroit Lions and become someone that like we even saw like the glimpse of the first season where, you know, it was a horrible first season for Dan Campbell. Yes, former presidential candidate, apparently. If you ask Gronk, I still am somehow. I don't know. But yeah, I really liked the Goff stuff. I thought Goff came off very personable. I like that we saw a little bit of his home life and how it works out. I felt sad watching the dinner scene when it was him, his wife, and then Amon-Ra and his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. We knew it was...
and they're all like, wow, this is so great. This is the first week we're not actually playing a game. We just get to watch all the other games, and they're all excited. I'm just like...
I still think that's wild that you and I like predicted exactly.
We called it. We watching enough football to call stuff to a T, man. It's like how I called the Eagles beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll never live that one down.
That was hilarious when Romeo was like, against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I watched the Chiefs.
We both picked the Eagles, and we were like, yeah, but you were the one who had the blowout. Credit where credit is.
Yeah, I said we're due for a blowout, and I said the Eagles defense will do it. You can go back and watch that video. But Goff, like I felt so bad for them, and then watching it play out on the show, it was just like I like seeing Goff, go through like the mental hurdles too, like the Houston game where he threw like what was it, like I forgot 4 interceptions and stuff. Yeah, and stuff, but just seeing that like they have that mental toughness and he has that mental toughness to get through that. That's some like cool shit because like a lot of people would give up on that and stuff, man.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, and to Penn's comment, like it seems weird to get involved in personal lives. Like I agree, like there is something about it, but at the same time, seeing that is really great because like they are human beings first, and like we like sports fans in general shit on players and teams
and quarterbacks especially
quarterbacks. So like it is cool to see like what they're going through, like just because like just from like a personal level, like Kristen Harper was bawling her fucking eyes out. And then, like, to think about it, like, damn, she's got to wipe these tears and go comfort him because as shitty as she feels right now, she knows he's feeling way worse. So it's like it is super cool just to see that aspect of it. And when we talk about human beings first, we save the best for last.
Yeah. I just want to go with Penn. What Penn says. It's just also too. It's like it's nice to know that these quarterbacks are like what they do. Like I don't obsess with it. I'm not like, oh my god, like, but it's nice to know like how these quarterbacks are wired. Like it's just more interesting to just see like what they do in the daily lives because like a guy like Joe Burrow, like you would think like, oh, what is he like off the field and stuff, and I also like to see how they handle stuff during the games. I like that there's more mic'd up access during the games because that's where the real fun is like where the mic'd up access is during games and stuff. So like that's what I like the most about the QB shows when we get more game stuff because we get to learn how they are during the games. But yeah, man, time to talk about a Roy.
Oh wait, one final thing about Jared Goff. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Did you notice or realize in his office he has a picture of her from one of her swimsuit things?
Yeah, dude.
Like that's hilarious. But anyway,
don't blame him.
Let's get to Colleen's hands down favorite quarterback in the NFL, Kirk O'Chains. Oh man, Kirk Cousins. Like I said, when he signed up for this season of quarterback, he did not think that the season was going to go the way that it did. And like I said, also, if I'm an Atlanta Falcons quarterback, now going forward, I would turn down any opportunity to be on this show because every time somebody's on this show, they get benched. But it was pretty wild to see just the roller coaster for Kirk Cousins. And we talked about it back during the draft. How do you sign somebody like Kirk Cousins? Not just sign that person, but sign them to the contract that you did. $180 million, 3 years, $100 million guaranteed. How do you sign somebody to that and then draft Michael Penix 8th overall? Now, at the time, there was this concept of, maybe, or this idea that maybe he's not going to be fully recovered, right, from the injury. That's potentially also why the Saints picked up Tyler Shuck, and then we saw what happened with Derek Carr. So, like, there is some aspect of that to it, but the idea is if Kirk is good to go, Kirk's good to go. And yes, there was some issues in the beginning of the season, but then he did turn it on. And I know you remember covering the reactions to those 2 Tampa Bay games. Those were shootouts. That was some of the best football that we saw last season. And seeing that how this season kind of just developed for him from not feeling 100% with the ankle and everything that happened, then the shoulder injury against the Saints, and seeing how that affected him, it is wild just to think that what the expectations, not outside expectations, but expectations from himself on what this season was going to be with Atlanta and what it turned out to be. And there is something to be said for that mind meld that has to happen with quarterbacks and their receivers and the offense. And you saw that when it came to the number of motion plays that were present, and how he kind of botched that thing. And then he goes up to the center and he's like, that's on me because I had this feeling we were going to mess it up. And, we talk about mental mistakes and talk about the repetition aspect and the fundamentals of it, he had to learn a lot. And on top of that, it was this huge situation where he had to develop chemistry with Drake London, coming from a situation where he could just put the ball where he knew Justin Jefferson was going to be.
Yeah.
That is insane. That is insane. Like, we're talking about Burrow and Jamar Chase. We saw plenty of plays where he's throwing the ball before Chase is even breaking out of the route, because he knows Chase what he's going to do. He knows when he's going to do it. And that comes from just the years of playing together in Cincinnati, in LSU. And now Cousins, he's got to build that with the Drake Londons, Darrell Hodges, Darnell Mooney's, and Kyle Pittses of the world. Well, maybe not Kyle Pitts so much, but like, because they wouldn't have him leak out as much. But this was a situation for Cousins where it's like, man, you have such a great offense on paper. You have the names I just said, plus Tyler Algier, plus Bijan Robinson. This is an offense that should have been steamrolling teams, especially if Kirk was 100%.
Yeah.
That shoulder injury really hampered him. From the personal life aspect, I'll let you cover what I know you want to cover. But seeing him with his family, it's always great. We did not get this time around as much of Julie Cousins picking out his clothes and his outfits, which was just hilarious the first time in Minnesota in the first season of quarterback. But I did like that aspect of the friends coming around.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool. Just because like you don't realize, talking about like why it's kind of cool to see this about their personal lives is because like without this, how would we know that aspect of his friends being there for the "you like that" game? And like that's just like to understand like how much that game actually means more to him because he knew his friends were there. Like that was like their whole thing. Like that is it was really fascinating for me. And I like that, and seeing, do you like that? I did like that, and seeing him with the kids as always is really cool. Yeah, like he did benefit greatly from KOC and a freak in Justin Jefferson. The regression was going to be there, but like the idea that this offense would be able to do better than it had previously, like that was really the thing. Like there's a lot of teams, like I know Denver.
Yeah, they pretty much said it in the show. Raheem Morris said like, yeah, even though we drafted Penix, like. We have Cousins here because he's our quarterback, and we think it would just be good developmental for Penix, like like to be like, hey, they're going to treat it like a Rodgers Favre situation. Cousins, he'll play this contract. Once the contract's done, Penix will come in and he'll be like, hey, cool, like I got to be behind this great quarterback for the past 3 years, and not only that, hey, knock on wood, maybe they won a Super Bowl. Not saying they would have, but. That's the idea of these teams.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't pay that much attention to college until really this year. But Penix, with the development issues, a lot of it was like he has the arm and he has the running ability, but some of it was, if I remember right, the accuracy and the touch.
Yeah.
So that's where somebody like Kirk Cousins comes in really greatly, because Kirk, well, I mean, obviously he has the arm, or had the arm, at least for right now, but his accuracy and his touch was never really in question. It was more of just overall that the mental computing aspect. That's why he was like, I think, a 4th round pick. But like, that's what's going to help Michael Penix develop. And there are a lot of teams that, particularly like I live this with the Broncos, but the Broncos were like, we are just a quarterback away. We are just a quarterback away. And they weren't, but that's how they felt. And so this idea of bringing in Kirk Cousins makes complete sense to be better than you were previously with Desmond Ridder. But what were your thoughts on Kirk Cousins? I'll let you talk about the one scene I know you want to talk about, and then I think we'll circle back.
Wait, what scene do you think it is?
The great cuts.
Oh, the great clips. Yeah. Well, no, there's 2 scenes I want to talk about.
Well, no, the benching aspect, I think we'll get back to, but like,
okay.
You definitely want to hit up the
great clip scene is a great scene. Like Kirk Cousins is going, like, first of all, he's like, some people get the rushes. I get my rushes by going to great. First last season, this guy is promoting Kohl's and stuff. He's getting people to talk about Kohl's and Kohl's cash and everything. And then this second season, he's giving great clips, the greatest advertisement of all time. Just talking to the barber. Yeah, I travel around the country, so it's hard to have like a great. But first of all, like, dude, this guy must not be like presented as a quarterback or nowhere, because no one knows about this. About that, this guy. Yeah, Cole's his fire, man. Trust me, I know. But like, no one wants to know who the fuck this guy is. The best part is using his team roster photo, where it's clearly him, to get the haircut. Yeah, can you get my hair like that? Like, and
Yo,
the perfect haircut was so funny to me.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but the shit when he goes to what was it, cookouts or bust out, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't know who you are. Like, we don't.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, man, this guy is hilarious, man. Like, I was just like, that was the funniest. I was in tears watching that because I sent John the clip of it and stuff because I was laughing my ass off about it. Like when I watched the show, and then I tried to find the clip on Twitter, and so I sent John the thing on Twitter. That's how John realized that the show got dropped.
That it came out. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. Because I showed him that clip because I thought it wasn't that much of a major spoiler. I just thought it was the most funniest scene ever, and I was just like, I gotta show John this. This shit is fucking hilarious. I was in tears. Like, it was one of the best scenes. Shout out to Great Clips. Hey, look, I've gone to Great Clips too. They are a great establishment. And also explain the key. Like, this is a free. He literally goes, the great thing about Great Clips is I just have to put my name in the queue, and by the time I get there, it's like.
The funny part for me was I was like, okay, he is showing me this. I have died laughing myself. I know if I show this to Colleen, she will not stop laughing about this for at least 2 days. However, if I don't tell her this and just tell her that he's on quarterback, she'll want to watch it anyway. If I just wait until she sees this organically and then I just watch her, it's going to be amazing. And sure enough, when this happens, my wife just like sits up and starts paying full attention, and then she sees him use the headshot phone. She's just dying laughing. He's almost falling off the couch. I'm like, she's like, I love this man so much.
He's so funny. He's like the funny. It's like the funniest scene. I'm just like, you're using your own roster pick to show, like, and like if I was a barber at Great Clips, I'd be like, is that you or something? Like, what the. No one, and that was the best part. They didn't show anything. Like, none of these Great Clips employees cutting his hair go like, so what do you do? Like, a lot of the barbers I've gone to, they talk to me about it. But yeah, Great Clips, great advertisement. Sports Clips, you lost out. You lost out on this. This should have been you. This should have been you, and you lost out on Great Clips.
To your point about like them not asking him, like. Just the sheer fact that there are cameras.
Yeah, exactly. Why are there kids? Like I would be
none of them are like, so what do you, like, why are... He could have been like, it's a nature documentary. They'd have been like, oh, okay. But, like, nobody asked him.
Yeah, like, no, because, like, straight up, dude, like, it's not like Kirk Cousins, if he comes in, like, it's like, oh, yeah, that's a reality TV star. And then especially the way he acts. It's not like I would think, like, they're filming, like, a Christian reality TV. Who's buying that? Like, and it's not like the NFL is bringing like regular ass cell phones or like these nice digital cameras that, like most YouTubers use and stuff, DSLRs. They're bringing like heavy set cameras on the tripod and stuff. Like, they're bringing like the best cameras that you can get. And it's like, what the heck? Like, this guy is just like having these and he's talking about Great Clips. Like, you know how good your camera has to be to go over Kirk's shoulder to see the perfect image on the phone where there's no black screen to show his picture.
When they had the camera in the car and they go to the restaurant again and they're singing Cher in the car, and then eventually his kid's like, "Can we just stop singing the song? Like, can we just stop singing the song?" It took Colleen a few moments, and she's like, "Wait a minute, they're not even listening to the song; they're just singing the song."
Kirk posted. I bet you Kirk got a Great Clips sponsorship after that clip. Good for him. He needs something.
Yeah, but yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the benching. This, I felt really bad for him because you could see it throughout the course of his sections, where he is like talking about how he doesn't feel as though he's holding up like his end of the bargain. He's not playing well. And then you see him start to turn it back on. And then of course, the shoulder injury against the Saints, and he starts to kind of regress again. And I can understand from the Falcons' perspective why you turn the ball over to Michael Penix Jr. It makes sense. You're still in the playoff hunt. And so you got to believe hey, if we get in, right, like just let's get into the playoffs. But at the same time, it's like, but were you really good enough to be like, even if you made the playoffs, were you good enough to really win you games? I don't know about that one. I mean, there's a reason why, like we talked about this during the off season before the draft. They got to go defense. And sure enough, that draft, this draft, defensive end Jalen Walker, defensive end James Pierce, 3rd round Xavier Watts safety, 4th round Billy Bowman safety. They don't do anything for the offensive side of the ball until the 7th round. Like they're trading picks and things like that versus getting offensive help because they're like, we know this defense is dog shit and we cannot get pass rush. Let's get people. And during our post-draft conversation, we highlighted that. So I don't know if like from the idea of we just got to get into the playoffs and we can be frisky kind of thing. Like, yeah, you've got some people there on offense and you do have that ability to kill the clock with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier if you want to do sort of like a poor man's Monty and Gibbs. I get that. But like this was once you realize that Kirk was having some issues, like I would have tried to just keep, I don't know, but then there's also something to be said for get Michael Penix game reps, right? There is something to be said for get him on the field against actual NFL competition, see how he does. We need to know because if Kirk's not going to be the guy, we need to know if Penix is going to be the guy. I can see it both ways. But from Kirk's perspective, to know that, you know, you spoke to Minnesota, you wanted to stay in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, that was clear.
He said that multiple times. And the fact that Minnesota was like, we're going to take a quarterback, you know, not only are we going to take a quarterback high up, but we're going to basically put you on a year-to-year deal. You were like, okay, well, then I want to go somewhere where I'm going to have that, where there's going to be a little bit long-term commitment. And also that idea that he wants to play quarterback long enough that his children fully understand what it is that their dad did. Like, I thought that was a really cool thing, but you know, it does kind of suck because you could see at the very end when he is benched, his kid, the younger one, did not really understand. Like both kids were like, oh, dad's not playing football. Did the team cut him? Like, did they fire him? He doesn't have any job whatsoever? And the mom's like, no, he's still playing, but he's backing up his friend now, Michael. And they're like, oh, well, he can play with us. And I thought that was kind of cool. They were like, that was kind of funny. They were like, oh, nobody wants to play with you, Dad? You know, you can play with us. Like, us in the basement. And he's like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same, but not really. But it was, you know, I felt bad for him because I'm like, the ability for Kirk Cousins to be a starting quarterback at this point in his career on another team, whether it's the Falcons or not, is difficult. And he may run into that situation where that younger child never really understands what it is that his dad does. And that kind of sucks just from like a, you know, father, son, parent, child kind of thing. Like you want your kids to know what you did and what you know in the world. But I gotta say, you know, a lot of people would not have handled getting benched the way that Kirk Cousins handled getting benched. And I got to give a lot of credit to him because it's like, man, you didn't have to talk to Michael Penix Jr. and be the one to tell him and be the one to support him and do all those sorts of things. Like, obviously, it's what you should do. But what people should do and what they do are two completely different things. So seeing him do that for Michael Penix Jr., like, I think that was really good. I think that's also why they kept him, like why they exercised that signing bonus option and they're keeping him for the 2025 season. Because, like, I mean, as backups go, Kirk Cousins
can't do worse.
Kirk Cousins got to be one of the better or best backup quarterbacks you can have.
Yeah,
like look at who some of these other teams have. Like, our both of our hated enemies have terrible backup quarterbacks. Like
Minshew's fine.
Okay, stop it.
Minshew's one of the better backups, I would say.
Stop.
No, he is.
I mean, he's really good at throwing pick sixes to Pat Surtain, so you know, like that's great for him.
I think the Titans are clear-cut number one best backup quarterback.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should do a ranking of backup quarterbacks. So you could put Will Levis as the best backup quarterback.
Yeah, we could do that right now. Then after this, let's rank the backup quarterbacks. Will Levis is number one, regardless. It doesn't matter, but we can do it. I'll do it right now. I don't care.
but yeah, I mean, what were your thoughts on the benching and how Kirk handled it?
Yeah, man, Kirk, you can tell how faith is important to some people in life, and why faith is something that a lot of people sometimes believe in and stuff. Because Kirk, he not only was he an advocate for great clips, he's like, especially for men that like don't know about faith, or like I'm not a guy that has like I'm not a big faith guy. I'm just gonna put it out there. But if you're someone that follows faith and you're someone that is like Kirk Cousins about faith, he showed like how much like God helps him throughout his everyday life, and how he believes in what God has planned for him and stuff. And that must be cool for someone that is watching this that relates to Kirk Cousins, who is pretty much a believer in God, a good Christian man. If you're someone like that, he's showing you like, hey, this is how pretty much how you should handle your life when hard things happen to you and stuff. So shout out to Kirk for that. A lot of people, faith is important to some people, and it's cool to see that Kirk Cousins, has such a strong relationship with his faith that he believes that like it'll work out in the end because this is what God wants him to do. So shout out to him on that. His wife getting emotional, Julie, when she was like, he was in the garage and he was calling Mr. Michael, and that made me so happy that he called Mr. Michael in that situation. And I was just like, damn, like Julie's a saint. Like, oh my goodness, like find a woman like that in your life.
Bro, when she was talking about how like she likes reading social media comments, I was like, damn, that is pretty wild, because like there's a lot of hate towards quarterbacks,
and
players, and she's like just bringing on.
Yeah, she probably has a burner. Who knows? We don't know what Julie Cousins is like. I think she goes by her maiden name sometimes. But yeah, no, he handled it very well. You could tell when we got to the practice scenes and the game scenes. Body language though, just off. He was just not happy to be there at some of the games. Not happy to be in the practices. The little slide remarks, oh, great, I'm a scout team quarterback again. Like those are things where I'm just like, he's not happy. Ignoring the kids when he's walking past them during the Commanders game. It's like, and stuff. But like, you could tell he was like a little bit, but he was supportive of Michael Penix, and that was good to see. Obviously the scene that was just like, damn, this is where life hits you hard, is when him and Dalton were talking to each other after the Panthers game. Both guys were once starters for their respective teams, and just them talking about being benched. And Dalton's like, hurts, huh? And it's like, yeah, it's that's like, damn, like, and then Thielen just like hanging around. It's like, yo, Thielen, give these quarterbacks some time to breathe. But they're talking about it, but like you could tell Kirk, like he felt comfortable releasing his frustrations to Dalton. You're like, man, I just bought the house too. I don't know what to do with it and stuff like that. And like, he's just thinking about, because there's a lot of things like that house is a nice house that Kirk Cousins got. Did you not see the swing set those kids were playing on? Oh my God, that shit is like $1,200. So yeah, very, very, very tough to watch. Cousins' journey on this season of quarterbacks, where it's just like it seems so hopeful, and then when the benching happened, shout out to the Chargers, made it twice on this season with at quarterbacks, and both crucial moments too in the episode. So yeah, shout out to the Chargers, man.
I did not appreciate having to relive that Broncos Bengals game. That was not fun for me. I was like, wait a minute, we don't need to do this. Like, we're doing it, but we don't need to do it.
Yeah, we don't need to watch this. Why are we watching this?
But yeah, I mean, so what were your thoughts overall on the season and of quarterbacks, and if they are doing this alternating thing where they are going like 1 year quarterback, 1 year receiver, 1 year quarterback. Let's say it's this year's receivers. We know who we got last time. It was Tyshawn, aka Debo, George Kittle, Amon-Ra, and Jettas and Devontae. Who would you want for season 2 of receivers? So overall thoughts on quarterback, and then who would you be interested to see for season 2 of receivers?
Yeah, season 2 of quarterback. Just kind of like season 1, I felt this one was just a tad bit below season 1 for me. I felt season 1 was very much more interesting quarterback. Plus with Mahomes, like I felt Mahomes was just was a really good presence on that show. So for me, season 2 was a little bit dip in quality. You know, Joe Burrow just being a little bit too tamed. Goff was fine. Cousins was the MVP. So I thought it was a solid season. It was definitely. I did not feel like it's just like I felt like if we saw the Lions or someone win the Super Bowl or lose in the Super Bowl, there would be more to it. But it was just like I don't know. It was too sad. It was just like it was like such a downer after we saw the Lions lose, and I was like, oh, that's it. What else are we gonna do this season?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny because like you know, it's very true. A lot of people don't like think about it, but I think it was Goff who was saying, yeah, there's 31 quarterbacks who are going to be sad. And it's like, yeah, that's just the nature of the game. Like that is what it is.
Millions of NFL fans who are also sad when football ends as well. As for receivers, honestly, I would love if they went to the defensive side of the ball. I don't know, do like linebackers. That would be cool. Like, because I just feel like the linebackers, like I think that would be cool. You know, linebackers are crazy motherfuckers, so it'd be funny. But for receivers, if we had to choose receivers for season number 2, how many did they have? They had like 5, right? They had Kittle. Yeah, they had 5.
Kittle, Debo, Jettas, Devontae, and Sun God.
Okay. I feel you bring Amon-Ra back. He's good. He's good television. I think the Lions will still be good. So, like, you'll be able to get something out of that. So, I think Amon-Ra you bring back. CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb being part of the Cowboys, you want the most eyeballs watching possible. Cowboys have one of the biggest teams. So I think CeeDee Lamb would be a good person to have on the show. Garrett Wilson, New York, just easy.
That deal, actually.
Yeah. Did you see Sauce is the highest paid corner in the league?
I saw, yeah.
Poor Surtain.
Don't get me started.
That's a good shout, Penn. Nico Collins. Nico Collins wouldn't be bad. It would also be like a nice highlight for a team like the Texans that doesn't get enough like attention in the media and stuff. And I don't think Nico Collins would be boring on the show either. I think he has a lot of personality and stuff. So like any interview I've seen from Nico Collins, he seems pretty like a good, cool dude. So Nico Collins would be good. I haven't chosen a West Coast guy yet, huh? And I haven't chosen
Seattle.
Cup. I mean, Cup I guess would be good, but I was thinking more McConkey because he's a goopy white guy.
Well, you just look at you, just trying to put over the.
I was thinking McConkey because McConkey doesn't he just scream like perfect little reality TV guy? And he's like just a small little white dude, so like he stands out from all the other wide receivers that are on the show. Like all the other wide receivers are like big and physical that I'm talking about, and here's little lad McConkey and stuff, and he can bring the element of like what it's mean to play in the slot because like they didn't really have like a true slot receiver last year too. So those would be like the 5 I would go with. I think that would be a good mix. You got like CeeDee Lamb who I think would be massively entertaining. Amon-Ra, we know this guy is really good on camera. Garrett Wilson, I think would be good for the New York side of things. You have Ladd, a white guy, so it's a little bit different. And you have Nico Collins, some representation for like not a small team in the Texans, but a smaller market that doesn't get as much media love, and a guy that's like a budding superstar in the NFL.
Yeah, so let me think. Who would I want for?
Because after seeing Jamar Chase on quarterback, I don't want Jamar Chase. He seems very much like one, like not just in a bad way, but he just seems like, yeah, man, all right, cool, yeah, like just like you wouldn't get much from him. Like it's just like, all right, bet. It's just like, are you sure? All right, man, whatever you say. Like it's just pretty one note. Like I'm not gonna get much entertainment. Like I don't think Jamar Chase is like Justin Jefferson, where he's like, yeah, I have like a whole candy room and I just eat the candy and stuff.
That was hilarious. When he's doing the whole candy thing. Like I think that candy scene is when Colleen was just like, that's my favorite receiver. She was all in on on
Yeah,
Justin
especially
Jefferson.
when you look at Justin Jefferson and his body and stuff, and you hear about athletes they do so well to maintain their bodies, and you just Justin Jefferson, nah, man, I just eat a bunch of M&Ms. It's like, oh, great. So you have an 8-pack and you just eat M&Ms. That's awesome. Great to know.
How he pulls that off, it's fascinating. Yeah, I think for me, I would want to see. I mean, from a numbers perspective, you could always pick up the phone and see if Travis Kelce wants to do it.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We didn't even include a tight end. Yeah, if I had to include a tight end, Travis Kelce's number one. It's either him or I would ask Laporta to do it. Like, you just run around Laporta. Yeah, I'm sure Laporta's like just a crazy motherfucker, and it's just like he has this like low key funny side about him. But 100%, could you imagine the ratings on that? Like the Swifties would just watch just to see what Travis and Taylor are doing. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If you're talking about from like the perspective of ratings,
hey, Mahomes is the executive producer. It's pretty easy for him to,
that's what I'm saying. Easy paycheck for
man, just do it for me, man. It's your last season too. It'd be a great way to go out in style, man.
Let's see who else. Who else would be an interesting pick? I mean, granted, kind of like budding superstar, but Brian Thomas Jr. would be kind of interesting to see.
Oh yeah, he has that cockiness to him.
Oh wait, no, I'm lying. Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors.
Oh yeah, Malik would be good too. Yeah, Malik has that. Like both him and BTJ would be great because you just have just swag, confidence. They have big time personalities and stuff. So like that's what you need on these shows. You need the guys with like the swag and the confidence and stuff. Like heck, throw both of them on there. You can run a little segment. Who's better between you and BTJ? Oh man, it's totally me. Malik cool and all, but I'm the better receiver. Like they could just be talking crap about each other, showing the highlights and stuff.
I think one of my favorite moments of that Hard Knocks offseason for the Giants is when they're interviewing Malik Neighbors, and he goes, I hate losing more than I like winning. I'm like, you just said the magic words to make Brian Daboll want to draft you. Like, congratulations, sir. So I think I'd go with Malik. I'd go with Kelce. Let's see who else. I mean, Atlanta doesn't really have anybody that I'm.
You don't want to see Drake London and
no.
Oh, Michael Pittman on Indianapolis. We can see him fish.
Oh, that would be funny as hell. No, I mean, I think you named a lot of the good names I'd be interested in. I think outside of there's maybe Jefferson again would be fun, but I would kind of want to see. I wish that there was a way to like do like an in-season follow of certain people, not necessarily because of them, because I'm kind of in it for like the personalities, but I'm also in it just for like that football aspect of it. But I would love to just be a fly on the wall throughout the course of this season for Green Bay's wide receiver room.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
See, like, what's happening in there, and all like 4 of these guys now jockeying for position and trying to basically become the number 1 receiver.
How funny if they just did that season instead of like Paymans like normally we follow just individual, but this season we're doing something different. We're gonna follow the Green Bay wide receiving room, a room full of young, talented wide receivers, each trying to prove themselves on the field. You'll see a lot of things. And it gets spicy down there, and it's just them in Green Bay. And Green Bay is like a cool spot too. Like it's popping and stuff. So like it'll be interesting seeing all their daily lives and them talking shit about each other. Like that shit would be like man, this guy trash. That'd be a good idea for a show, to be honest.
All right, you know what I've been working on real quick here. Look at this.
No backup quarterback tier list.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Hold on, where is it? Final view, full screen, boom.
Yeah, let's go, man.
All right. I can make it bigger too, right? There we go. All right, so I got the NFC on the left-hand side. I got the AFC on the right-hand side. Who do we got? How do you want to do this?
I think we just start. We'll just say the numbers that we think that they are, and then we'll try to argue and
here's how we do this. Here we'll put in the conference, and here we'll put overall.
Okay.
So really quickly, pick who you want to put as the backup for the Browns.
Let's put Flacco.
Flacco? All right.
Yeah, I think he's a safe bet.
All right. All right, Kirko in the conference.
1.
1. And what do you have him for overall?
Like the league or the NFC?
Yeah, league. Overall league.
1.
1? All right.
Yeah.
So wait, let me do this also. Column left. And column left. I would go 1. I think I'd probably have him at. Ooh. You know? I might actually have to agree with you looking at this.
Yeah, dude. Like, you're not choosing Drew Lock over fucking Kirko Chains.
I mean, I might put Dalton just because of what we saw Dalton do when Bryce was benched. But yeah, I'm gonna go tentative 1. I'm gonna go 1 as well. All right, Kyle Trask.
Oh man, 4.
4. All right. And overall, well, you know what we should do? We'll do conference first.
Yeah, we'll do conference. But yeah.
I'm gonna put Trask. I'll put him 7th. We're
talking about NFL. I was thinking of division. Oh, division wise. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, conference wise. Yeah. Oh shit. 11.
11. Okay.
Yeah, I know. This guy he's not good.
All right. What do you got for Dalton?
Dalton, he in the conference. Oh, he's 2.
I'm agreeing with you there. Spencer Rattler,
16.
That was Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, like 5. I think he's 5.
5?
Yeah.
I think I'd probably have him. I think I'd go 6, and I probably now I think about it, I'm gonna drop Trask down to 10.
Yeah.
So Garoppolo or Bennett, Stetson.
Oh man. 8.
8?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go the other New England backup, former New England quarterback. I'm gonna put him 7th. Mac Jones. I think he's a solid 3.
Yeah, I'm debating between 3 and 4.
Though there is Sam Howell, there is Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I think I'll give Mac Jones a 4 for me. I think he's the 4th best in the conference.
I'll go 3 for right now. Drew Lock or Jalen Milroe. Oh shit, Jalen Milroe.
13.
Tyson Bagent. You can't rank him based off of his dad's arm wrestling.
I would say 10.
10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll go 9. Because he had some good flashes.
Yeah, he did.
Hendon Hooker, Kyle Allen. I mean, really, it's Kyle Allen more than Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker's done nothing.
11 no, 12.
12? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put Kyle Allen at 13. Malik Willis.
Surprisingly, I would have him at 3. He did good when Jordan Love was out. He looked good. Yeah, so I'll put him at 3.
Okay. I'll have him at 4 because, to your point, he did do pretty damn well. Sam Howell.
I'll put him at 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with the turnovers is just what the turnovers and the fumbles. I mean, sorry, the interceptions and the fumbles, just the turnovers in general.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. I'm gonna go 8. It's not a confident 8 though. Like I could have him down in the early teens.
Yeah.
Joe Milton.
I would put Joe at 9. I think he showed well in that last game, and I trust him if Dak gets hurt. Like I wouldn't feel too bad about that.
Let me see what we got here. I'll go 12. Mariota.
He's washed, man. 15.
15?
Yeah.
Oof. He can at least get the ball out. Come on now.
Man, he's washed, bro. He's old.
What do I got? What do I got here? I mean, even me, I've got only really got teens left. I mean, I got the 5, so I'm probably going to have to move somebody around.
Hey, you going to put DTR 5?
I'll go 14. Jackson Dart, like kind of an unknown.
I'll also put him at 6. I think he's better than what. 6? Like, yeah, he's still what's it called? He's a rookie. He's young. He has. Rookie quarterbacks. I tend to overrate them a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to put Dart at 5 because that's kind of like that unknown, but like he was drafted as high as he was for a reason. So
yeah.
And then DTR, Travis McKee, McCord. I think you've got 14 left.
Yeah, that would be 14. Yeah.
14. And what do I even have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Did I use all? Wait, I couldn't have used all of them. 1, 2.
You're missing
4.
Missing 15.
I am missing 15, which is a great spot for DTR, actually.
Yeah, DTR. I'm so tired. Oh, will he break out? Where like, oh my god, dude, this guy is never gonna break out. Kid, stop living his college days. It's
all
over.
Right. My guy's Stiddy.
In the conference. I'm confident in saying this. I think he's like 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. I have him more as like a 7-ish, but Minshew.
4.
4. Go 8. Aiden O'Connell, AOC.
16. It's terrible.
I'll give him a little bit of credit only because he's throwing to the same people. Minshew, like it is a little bit there where it's like, I mean, you are throwing to new people. Heineke, your boy.
11.
I still am trying to figure out why Taylor Heineke is like a suggested person I should add on Facebook. I don't know. It's got to be a fake profile. Which again, but then I'm like, why would you make a fake profile for Taylor? Mason Rudolph.
5.
5?
Yeah.
I'll give him a 9. Cooper Rush.
8.
8? I go 6. He did play very well when Dak was out. Flacco.
I know he had like that nice little mini resurgence, but like I'm just gonna say 7 for right now. It just depends on the playbook and on playbooks and everything, like So
yeah. I go 10 for Flacco because my thing is just like if I'm starting Flacco and then he makes like those boneheaded decisions, it's like can I trust my defense to be able to not let it get too far out of hand? Which I mean the Browns have a good defense, but still it's like you don't know how many times he's going to do those boneheaded decisions. Jake Browning.
2.
Yeah.
He showed a lot. Like he's good. He could start at one day.
Yeah. Davis Mills.
I would say 6.
6?
Yeah.
I'll give Davis Mills a solid 10. Daniel Jones. Got to be high.
Sadly, number 1.
Number 1. I'm putting him at 3. Nick Mullins.
10.
10? I will give Nick Mullins an 11. Your boy.
Sadly, 15.
Oh, so when you actually have to rank him.
Yeah, sadly.
I would give him a 15 too. Trubisky.
9.
9?
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good spot for Mitch.
I trust Mitch. Mitch is not like horrible and stuff. Yeah. Like like do I want him to start? No, but if he needs to, he needs to.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta change this. I gotta agree with you because I know who's coming. I know that person is actually the 3. Mitch Trubisky. Let's see. I'm gonna give Mitch 5 because I've seen him be able to do a lot.
Yeah, no, he could be a lot higher. It's just like Rudolph has had. For me, it's like Rudolph has had more starts. Stidham, Sean Payton really loves the guy.
Mitch, for good or for ill, Mitch does have playoff experience.
Yeah. No, it's just more of like today's NFL and stuff.
Yeah,
like Minshew's started a little bit more, and plus he's with the Chiefs, so it's like he'll figure out the playbook really quick. Stidham, he's the Sean Payton guy. Rudolph has had starts and stuff, so Jake Browning, he's good. So
Zach Wilson,
fellow Hawaiian, and Quinn Ewers. I had to rank both of these idiots.
He's my 3. That's why I had to move Daniel Jones.
Oh man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll put him at 12. All right, Zach Wilson. Every time he's just like the other DTR. Leave it alone. It's over.
Tyrod.
Yeah, I guess he's 13.
I'm gonna give Tyrod. Give Tyrod 16. I might have to read. Oh wait, I gave 2 10s. Davis Mills versus Flacco. I'm gonna move Flacco to 12. All right, and finally Josh Dobbs.
14.
14.
Yeah, like Dobbs. I don't know. The Patriots team is like I get it that he's with Vrabel again and stuff.
When he was with Minnesota.
No, I know he played well. It's just that roster's still bad.
Right, but I'm not going to hold the roster against the talent of the backup. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't seem that fair. But all right, so let's try to do overall. Okay. So if we've got Kirko at number 1 overall, then Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Jones is the second best. Yeah, Jones is the second best backup quarterback in the league.
All right. So now our 2s were Dalton and Browning.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would go Browning as second overall.
As like the third best backup?
Yeah, third overall.
Yeah, I agree with that. Browning's the third best backup in the league.
So then, do you have Dalton then at 4?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Dalton at 4 for sure.
4. So then now we look at our 3s. You have Stidham.
You could put Rattler at 32. Like we both agree that.
Yeah, that's true.
You can just put 32 next to his name now. He's just.
All right. So you have Stidham at 3. I have Zach Wilson at 3. And then over here, you have Malik Willis at 3. And I have Mac Jones at 3. Okay. This is an interesting one then. So who are you taking as your 3rd overall? So you can really pick between Malik Willis or Jarrett Stidham. Sorry, as your 4th overall. Best
4th overall. I would have to go with Stidham.
Stidham?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would make Malik Willis your 5th.
Yeah.
And so I have to pick between Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. I would take Mac Jones over Zach Wilson. All right. So now let's look at our 4s. So you have Mac Jones at 4.
Yeah.
And then over here you have Gardner Minshew. So who would be your 6th best between Minshew and Mac Jones?
Minshew would be 6. Jones would be 7.
Okay. I have Malik Willis or Josh Dobbs. I would take Josh Dobbs. Malik Willis. I would take Malik Willis over Dobbs. Okay. So that's my 7. So now we are at 5. So you have Brissett or you have Mason Rudolph.
Brissett would be my 8th, and then Rudolph would be my 9.
You're 9. Okay. So then for me, I have Jackson Dart or Mitch Trubisky? I got to give that one to Mitch based off of just game time experience. And Dart becomes 9. All right, so for 6, you have Jackson Dart, or you have Davis Mills for 10.
Dart 10, Davis Mills 11.
Okay, so now I have to pick between Cooper Rush and Jacoby Brissett. Ooh, this one's interesting. I'm going to go with Cooper Rush. He, to me, makes fewer mistakes than Brissett. All right, so 7, you have Sam Howell or Joe Flacco.
I'd put Sam Howell at 12, Joe Flacco at 13.
And I have Stidham or Garoppolo. Oh, that's fairly easy. Stidham at 12, Garoppolo at 13. All right, so for your 8, you have Garoppolo. That's kind of funny. You're like, you can go to Garoppolo or Cooper Rush.
Garoppolo over Cooper Rush. So Garoppolo would be
14.
14, yeah, and then Cooper Rush 15.
15. All right, so my 8s were Minshew or Sam Howell. Also interesting. I would probably take Sam. I feel as though Sam Howell has a better arm than Minshew.
Yeah, he does. Minshew's more of a gamer.
Yeah. So I would think I would take Minshew at 14. Sorry, Howell at 14, and Minshew I would put as my 15. All right, so now 9, you've got Joe Milton or Mitch Trubisky.
Trubisky at 16, Milton at 17.
17. All right.
Oh, no, Trubisky's at 16.
Okay.
Milton's at 17. Yeah. I don't trust Milton yet, but I like his potential.
I've got Mason Rudolph or Tyson Bagent. I think that's a Bagent. Oh, sorry, I keep saying the names wrong. But Mason Rudolph over Tyson Bagent. Mason just has way more experience.
Yeah.
So now your 10 is Tyson Bagent or Nick Mullins.
Mullins at. Am I at 18 or 9? 8, yeah, Mullins at 18. And then Bagent at 19.
Okay. And now my 10 is either Davis Mills or Kyle Trask. I'm going to go Mills and then Trask at 19. All right, so now for you, 11 is Kyle Trask or Taylor Heineke.
Oh, my dog Heineke, he's definitely over, what's his name, Kyle Trask, yeah. he's played.
So that's 20 versus 21. Now my 11 is Nick Mullins or Drew Lock / Jalen Milroe. I'm going to go with Drew Lock over Mullins. So that's
/ Jalen Milroe too.
Yeah, so that's my 20, and then Mullins is my 21. So now your 12th was Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen versus Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers.
Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers, my 22, and then the 23 would be Hooker and Kyle Allen.
Okay. So now my 12 is Flacco versus Joe Milton. That's a Flacco. You need the game reps, sir.
Yeah.
So now your 13 is Drew Lock, Jalen Milroe versus Tyrod Taylor.
Drew Lock over Tyrod Taylor for sure. I would say that.
So that's 24 and 25. My 13 is Taylor Heineke versus Hooker and Allen. I'd go Heineke for that one. So that's what, 20? No, 24 and what was it, 25? All right, so now you have DTR, McKee, and Kyle McCord versus Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs over DTR.
Okay, so that's 26 and 27. I have to pick between Aiden O'Connell and who's my 14 over here? Marcus Mariota. I'd probably go Aiden O'Connell 26. And where's Mariota? Where'd you go, sir? 27. And now you have Marcus Mariota or Will Levis.
Mariota, sadly, over Will Levis.
28. 28 and 29. And my 15s are Will Levis and DTR McKee. Yeah, you know what? I think I would go Will Levis here.
Oh, wow.
All right, and finally, we completed it on that side. Oh, so that makes this Tyrod. Wait, hold on. Oh, Aiden O'Connell for you for 31.
Yeah, what happened to 30? We don't have 30 in here.
Wait a minute. What did we do?
Yeah, we messed up somewhere. We messed up on the numbers. Did we forget a team? No, we got every team.
No, we got every team. So Kirko 1.
Yeah.
And then we had Daniel Jones as 2.
Yeah.
So then we went to our 2s. And yours was Dalton. Both of ours were Dalton, who we had 4 overall. And we had then I went Stidham. All right, so how about this? Now that you know your overall numbers,
yeah,
we'll just do it here. So overall, do it again. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then I'll put it here. How about this? And then here we have 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and you said Rattler. And then you have Kirk Cousins and Daniel Jones. You're 3. Oh, I think that's what happened. We didn't get we didn't have your overall 3.
Oh. Do I not have an overall third best backup quarterback in the league?
Yeah, because you didn't end up picking a 3rd overall because we put Malik Willis as 5th. You put Stidham as 4th. That's what happened.
Oh, I messed up. Okay. We know who it is now. We know who it is. We all know Kirk is number 1 and best backup quarterback, and that Spencer Rattler's the worst.
I mean, I would completely agree with that. So I think we've pretty much we've done the exercise as it needs to go.
Yes, I messed up. My bad, guys. I messed up.
But
I said something different. 3rd best backup quarterback. It should be Will Levis, but he's not.
But yeah, I mean, as it goes, this was a pretty fun season of quarterback to watch. It really did give you that kind of in-depth look into players' lives, what they go through, and if anything, it really did get you interested in like more hype for the upcoming season of the NFL. So I think like job well done from that perspective. What would would you have any improvements, like things you'd like to see?
No, I think they do a great job with the show. Actually, I think I see a lot. Like I don't feel like I'm missing much, to be honest. I feel they show enough game footage for like the football fans. They show enough personal life stuff. Like I don't really have a complaint with these shows. I think they do a nice. It's way better than the NBA version of it. The NBA version of it is so boring and tame. The starting 5, like not as good. Like the game footage is not that good compared to like the game footage in quarterbacks. Like I think quarterbacks, it does a great damn job with like showing us enough. So I don't think there needs to be any improvement. I feel we get to know the personalities well. I love like every episode they give us a night, like for the viewers that don't watch football, they give us a lesson about certain things and stuff. So like to me, I think they do a great job with this show, so I don't think you need to change much.
Yeah, I mean, I would be in agreement with you. I think, and this is more of just like a personal kind of thing, because like there's no way to really know who's going to accept the offer on the show. But like personally, I would want them to find a way that two of the people play each other.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Season. I think that would probably, and you could then see each one of them kind of breaking down what the other one does really well. That I think would probably be the only way that this could really be better than what it is currently.
Yeah, man. Like Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, you guys do it again. You guys play each other you guys have been playing each other a lot, so yeah.
Yeah. Like it would just be fascinating to see each one of them talk about the other's strengths, the other's weaknesses, and things like that.
Yeah.
I think they'd be polite about the weaknesses, but talking about the strengths and like that kind of aspect of it, I think that does add a little certain, just something different to it. And it, would be really, really cool would be if and it doesn't need to be like a long form thing, would just be if you took two sets of quarterbacks in the same division so that you're getting 2 games a year.
Yeah.
That way you can have
that would be awesome.
Talk about, you could be like, especially because a lot of times now you have one divisional game towards the beginning of the season, one divisional game towards the end of the season. You can see like what it was when they were at week 5, week 6, whatever it is. And then now it's week 14, 15. It's the grind, and it's.
How funny you get like Bo Nix and Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes, and like Mahomes is like,
yeah, man, I won't be playing this game because we're resting, but I know the Broncos are going to be playing hard.
Yeah, that would have been funny. No, but actually, as it so happens, Bo and Herbert, because of that Oregon connection, would be pretty interesting to see, like just the conversation.
Oh yeah, just the pregame chatter, the postgame chatter and stuff. Like, like that'd be cool and stuff. And especially like if you can choose a division and it's gonna be close, so it's like kind of like, oh yeah, like we really need this game. This will help us get over the mountaintop. Yeah, that'd be dope, to be honest. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that's all we've got for this week. We're gonna be trying to get you guys as we get into the full swing of the NFL. I'm sure, knock on wood, that these aren't happening, but it is a fact of life that somebody somewhere will get injured during training camp. So there's a lot of things that's going to be happening in training camp. There's a lot of things that are going to be happening with these preseason games. We're going to be doing division by division breakdowns to see like what we think for this upcoming season. I don't know if we're going to necessarily do it like each division, or if we're going to do like all South. So NFC South and AFC South at the same time, and so on and so forth, because the season is quickly approaching. There's real football being played in 2 weeks. So we will be covering all of that as we get in there. And then of course it'll be the temporary end of true offseason as we get back into true picks. True picks coming back around. Remember, we had a pretty good head-to-head competition going there last season. So guys, we want to thank you as always for tuning in. Chase, let the people know where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on X at ChaseAuber68 and on the Around the Point Network, AT Point Network on YouTube, where we talk about pro wrestling. And
you can always catch them popping up in the comments on AEW Ramble. And
my favorite True Heat show, man. It's great. Sometimes I'll miss Dynamite. I gotta catch up somehow.
And you guys could always catch me here covering a lot of the football stuff, and you'll see more as more of me as the football season gets fully underway. I don't do as much of the wrestling stuff these days, but football is football.
Sure, the OTC one is back.
I saw him come back. I saw him
for 3 weeks, and then he goes back on vacation.
I saw him not want to help CM Punk up. That was a bit of a dick move.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. That guy's a leech. Leeches off his whole career. Who gave him the main event? Roman.
Look at this guy.
Reigns,
now that
Roman
Hangman completed his little main character arc, look at you turning on CM Punk.
Hangman was right, bro. He was trying to save
Don't
AEW
even
for
get
him the
me
whole time.
started. Don't even get me started.
Hangman was right. Jack Perry was right.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Hangman was right in the main event.
Real glass, Crimea River.
Proof of Hangman being right, him winning the main event of All In, while at the same time, Adam Cole is talking about how he might have to retire due to injuries.
Man, that's bad for big money.
And Kenny Omega is talking about how guys should probably tone things down and not go balls to the wall all the time. But when a certain guy from Chicago was talking about that, and talking about people who are younger taking advice from veterans, he was, vilified, ran out of the company, all kinds of fun stuff.
Take advice from the real veteran in the locker room, big money marks, man. Reason why ratings up, everything's up, nothing's going down the toilet. No longer the champ. Said, have fun with your Hangman and stuff. I'll be there when you want to throw the belt back on me if you want the real ratings, man.
While you were saying that, I felt like just cuts appearing on my forehead and blood showing up. So
the Death Riders theme, that's like my favorite bathroom song. Like I'll just play when I'm using the restroom because it just like it helps me. It's just like it's such a terrible theme.
I didn't need to know that. I mean, I appreciate you feeling that you needed to tell me that, but I didn't need to know that.
Same with Solo Sikoa's theme. I'm like, he's such a piece of shit. I might as well just listen to it. Take it at all. Down the score. No, we're not taking a loss. It's like, okay, piece of shit.
Well, until next time, guys, remember, take care of yourselves and each other.
Real champ. Nothing better than me, man. Big money Mox. Why the ratings are up, why the demo's up, it's because of me, man. Not because of Hangman. This is Big Money Mox time.
I just want to say I love how Darby returned and like basically contributed nothing. But anyway,
he wrapped her down. He did a coffin drop.
Yeah, sure. All right, you guys. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will catch you all later.